things just didn't work out as they should have in the Berg. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Dodgers' latest for a Wednesday here on our YouTube channel. Can't thank you enough. The community continues to grow. Love all the comments that we're getting from you. Keep them coming. We'll read them here on the air, and we'll try to respond to each and every one of them. And, of course, you can hit me up right there on Instagram and on X at JRod Show. Coming up on a milestone episode, and that's all thanks to you. Coming up later this week here on Dodgers Latest. All right, Dodgers took it on the chin last night against the Pirates. They lose 9-7, and what really is starting to be a disturbing trend is that Dodgers are 3-8 in their last 11 games against teams that are under 500. Remember, they got swept by the Angels. They split 4 against the Rockies. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks, and now they lose the opener of this 6-game road trip against the Pirates 9-7. So they, in their last 11 games, not in a row, but their last 11 games that they've played teams that are under 500, the Dodgers have lost 8 out of 11 and seem to not be able to get out of their way. Thankfully, the Padres are in a bit of a spiral themselves. They've lost 7 out of 10, including 3 in a row. They're trying to avoid getting swept by the Orioles, who are a last-place team, and that's where the Dodgers are heading to this weekend. Dodgers 2.5 up on the Padres for the division. They're now 2 games back of Philadelphia, are the Dodgers, for the number 2 seed in the National League. Dodgers playing the Pirates tonight and tomorrow, and then head to Baltimore for the weekend. Padres are finishing up with the Orioles. They go to Denver to play the Rockies, while the Phillies are in Milwaukee, and then they go to Miami over the weekend. So interesting stuff as we're winding down into September. And for the Dodgers, last night was a bit of a, you're up and you're down, you're in and you're out. Kershaw had a very bad first inning and then right the ship. Ended up pitching 5 innings despite giving up 4 runs in the first inning. And all in all, a decent start for Kershaw to keep the Dodgers in the game. But the Dodger bullpen leaky again. The offense was there. They got 7 runs, including Andy Pages hit a home run. Ohtani hit a home run. But again, the thing that jumped out at me is once again the corner outfield. That's Conforto in left and Teoscar in right. Again, they didn't miss play balls. They weren't errors, but they couldn't get to balls, and they eventually led to run for the Pirates. And that's, I think, the frightening part about this whole thing is that the Dodgers, we talked about it many times. The one thing they said when they played the Yankees in the World Series was that the Yankees cannot make plays in the outfield. They can't go left to right, and if a ball's hit right at them, they can do it. And we saw the Dodgers exploit that, taking extra bases. We saw the errors the Yankees made, especially in that Game 5 at Yankee Stadium. And the Dodgers are now are turning into that Yankee team. Conforto, he's either lost, he's tentative. It's been a snowball for him, both offensively and now defensively. And for Teoscar, at least he had a couple of hits last night, but his on-base percentage is woeful for the season. 282 on-base percentage for Teoscar, and to go along with some defensive struggles. We've already seen him get reset, benched for a couple of days. Now that Ha-Seong Kim is back, now that Kike Hernandez is back, and now hopefully when Max Muncy returns in a week or so, Dodgers are going to have to make some serious decisions, especially when it comes to the postseason. Because, again, what the Dodgers did to the Yankees, everybody knows that. And now I can see the teams trying to do that to the Dodgers, taking extra bases. And unless the ball's hit right at Teoscar or right at Conforto, they are not good right now in the outfield. What's the solution? Do you move Teoscar to left? They've already said they're not moving Mookie Betts to right. And, they've got a point. Mookie's playing some great shortstop out there. So you're actually hurting the team defensively now if you move Mookie out to right field. Love to hear your comments. What do you think they should do? Is it bench Conforto, move Teoscar to left? Get Ha-Seong Kim out there. What should we do? That's the big question. Alex Freeland's been playing great at third base. spelling Max Muncy, and now Hussein Kim is back. Does he play left field and sit Conforto? But that doesn't solve the problem of Teoscar and right. It's an interesting dilemma and one you hold your breath, especially when a ball's hit, Teoscar's left or right. He's got to, go laterally to try to get the ball. Interesting situation. And it's one thing to be bad defensively if you're pounding the baseball, and Teoscar has been so inconsistent, and he's sort of been, pretty much a carbon copy of the Dodgers season, consistently inconsistent. So we'll see how the Dodgers end up playing there. Yeah, again, Teoscar did have a couple of hits and an RBI last night in the loss, but again, that outfield play leaves a lot to be desired. All right, we talked about Shohei's home run. He hit one 120 miles an hour. That's how hard he hit the home run. It was the hardest home run by a Dodger batter in the StatCast era. That's going back to 2015. Hit a line drive 120 miles an hour into the right field stands for his 100th career home run as a Dodger. That's wild, right? He hasn't even been 2 full seasons, and he's already got 100 home runs as a Dodger. His 46th of the season, getting closer and closer to winning the MVP. We put a poll on here last week, Schwarber or Ohtani, and Ohtani overwhelmingly won that poll to be the MVP. And why? Well, not only are the numbers great, Ohtani's on the mound tonight, and he's hoping to bounce back after a pretty good start against the Reds. The Dodgers trying to get it going. They're scuffled. It seems like when they play good teams or teams above 500, they sweep the Reds, they swept the Padres. But when they play bad teams, we already saw it. They've lost 8 of their last 11 games. And if you go back to, another series before that, when they lost 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals, that's now they've lost 10 of the last 14 games they've played against sub-500 teams. And this is a big sub-500 stretch for the Dodgers. Remember, they're playing the last-place Pirates. They go to the last-place Orioles this weekend and play the last-place Rockies next week at Dodger Stadium. And oh, by the way, next weekend, the Dodgers will be in San Francisco, who, oh, by the way, have won 9 out of 10, are on fire, and all of a sudden have caught the Reds, and now it's the Giants that are knocking on the doorstep with Cincinnati as that last wild card in the National League. So things have gotten really interesting from a Giants perspective, and the Dodgers have 2 series left with San Francisco. So it's going to be tough. They have 2 series with the Giants. They have a series with the Phillies at Dodger Stadium, and they end the year in Seattle. So Ohtani's going to have to, keep hitting those 120-mile-an-hour home runs. As tonight he is on the mound in Game 2 of the series. Dodgers trying to even it up. Blake Snell will pitch tomorrow in Pittsburgh, and then the Dodgers will get on the bird and head over to Baltimore for a series against the Orioles. All right, finally, last thing we want to talk about is Roki Sasaki. He pitched last night in AAA against the Astros AAA team, and Sasaki, 69 pitches, had a bad first inning, kind of like Kershaw, gave up 2 two-run homers in the first inning, but then settled down, 5 innings, 4 runs, 3 hits, 2 home runs, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks, 69 pitches. And the Dodgers feel like this was a big milestone for him because he got to 5 innings. And that's what the Dodgers are trying to get him, to stretch him out. Now, is this an exercise, is this sound and fury representing nothing? Because, let's be honest, do you want Roki Sasaki on the postseason roster? I know I don't. I think he has shown us mentally that I don't think he's ready for the big leagues, at least mentally to fail. I think it's great to get him out there again. Maybe, the Dodgers think he's going to have one more start in AAA. And yeah, now that the rosters have expanded, yeah, sure, you bring him up, have him, pitch a game or 2, maybe get back into the swing of things, maybe get his confidence back down the stretch here in September. But again, do you want Roki Sasaki on the mound in meaningful October baseball games? I don't think so. I don't think he's ready for it. Dodgers have him well under control. Remember, he signed a 1-year deal from Japan, but Dodgers have him. He's not arbitration eligible yet, so it's not like he can go anywhere, and I don't think the Dodgers could trade him or anything like that. I don't know what his trade value would be. But Sasaki, who has had a shoulder problem, he's missed a bunch of time this year, many of the Dodgers have, did look okay last night. Did get to 69 pitches, did get to 5 innings, which is a milestone the Dodgers wanted. Looks like he'll have one more start in AAA, and then you'll bring him back up. But again, October baseball, I don't think I want him on there. Love to hear what your comments are here on our YouTube page over at Dodgers Latest. Okay, Ohtani on the mound tonight. Good times ahead. Dodgers wrapping up the series tomorrow with Blake Snell. Remember, you can hit me up right there on Instagram and on X at JRodShow. Dodgers 2-2 against the Pirates this year, and hopefully they can get off the schneid, if you will, against bad teams, because this is the time to capitalize. Padres are playing the Orioles. Dodgers are playing the Brewers. The Phillies are playing the Brewers, while the Dodgers are playing the Pirates. 2.5 up on the Padres, trying to wrap things up in the National League West. I'm Jim Rodriguez. Let's have some fun tonight. And remember, it's always time for Dodger baseball.